As I was praying and pondering over the first reading today, we hear about how Jacob, he's not a good guy. Earlier, his brother had come in from out doing his stuff, and he was eating some sort of red porridge or something like that, and his brother says, "Give that to me. What will you give?" Or whatever, He says, "Give me the status as firstborn," so he would get the lion's share of the inheritance. He says, "What good is my inheritance if I die of starvation?" So Jacob wheedled it out of him there, and then now he's, at the prompting of his mother Rebekah, he's going and disguising himself to receive his father's very special blessing that he had for Esau. And we look at this and we say, and this is our model? This is the model? No, because what happens? What happens is they kind of skip over it in the lectionary. But if you read the scriptures, we hear that then Esau gets in such a rage that he's going to go and kill his brother. And so Jacob has to flee. And he goes to his mother's brother, Laban, and there he finds his wife. But then he gets tricked, right? They give him Leah instead of the one that he wanted, Rachel. So then he had to wait, and then he gets Rachel. And for 14 years, he then has to labor for his father-in-law. And then after that, when he's ready to go, his father-in-law tries to trick him and out of the flocks that he's supposed to get. So what do we see over this? Over this time, God took this very hardened man and humbled him. He had to humble him, and then he was able to use him to become the patriarch and the beginning of the people of God. We see this also with Joseph. Could you imagine your little brother coming up and you, "I had this dream, all of you were bowing down to me." What a little twerp. What a twerp. And no wonder the brothers were just like grumbling against him. He was so irritating. None of you have ever had an irritating little brother, I'm sure. I was the irritating little brother. But so what? We look in what God then humbled him by those years of enslavement, imprisonment, so that when God wanted to raise him high, he could work with him. We see this in Moses, right? Moses, he can't control his anger. He sees one of his countrymen being beat, and what does he do? He ups the ante and he goes and kills the person. And so God then has him out in the desert for 40 years, humbling him, working as a shepherd, which was like the lowliest of the low. And then, especially in Egyptian society, in fact, that's what, when Jacob brought his sons into Egypt, Joseph had said to his brothers, "Tell Pharaoh that you're all shepherds, then he'll give you your own space separate, because the Egyptians don't like shepherds." And so then Moses has to go out and be the shepherd in the wilderness for 40 years. And then God says, okay, now he is humble, now he is the meekest man on the earth. Now I can speak with him with the burning bush and bring him to set my people free. The beautiful thing about all of this is we look and we say, my heart is so hardened. I'm so arrogant, I'm so proud, and yet God says, and I can work with you. I can work even with you. Allow me to humble you. Allow me to touch your heart. And we look at the bad circumstances of our life and we say, what is going on here? And the Lord is saying, I'm using this. I'm using this bad. I'm using this evil in order to draw you closer to my heart. That you have to rely on me because you can't rely on yourself. As we turn to the Lord today, we ask him, Lord, help us. Help us to turn to you, to cling to you, to be humbled, that we recognize on our own we cannot do anything, but we need you for everything. Lord, humble our hearts, soften our hardened hearts, before we have to go through all the trials and tribulations, so that you may use us now for your glory, for your goodness.